Okay, so this is the sheet called Integration Questions 2 that I've been mentioning a few times, and I just want to go through a select few questions. Okay, I'm just going to pick 4 of these from numbers 2 and for numbers 1 and 2. Okay, so let's just start here with this first one, which is A. You've got to evaluate the square bracket 3x squared plus 2x with the limits being 1 and 0.5. And as we said before, we don't have to do anything here other than put the numbers in. Okay. Now before I do that, I'm just going to put some more paper underneath here, because otherwise I might have an effect on this desk. Okay, so there we go. Right, so 3x squared plus 2x, the limits 1 and 5. So we just put those in one by one. So first we put 1 in. So we've got 1 squared plus 2, 1. Okay, and that's into the first bracket, and we're subtracting from that the second bracket, which is 3 brackets 0.5 squared plus 2 times 0.5. Okay, and then we can just evaluate that. Okay, so 1 squared is 1, so we've got here 3 plus 2, which is 5, and from that we're going to subtract 0.5 squared is 0.25, and 3 times that is 0.75, and then we've got plus 2 times 0.5, so that's 1. Okay, so we've got 0.75 plus 1, which is 1.75, and 5 minus 1.75 is simply 3.25. So that is what you should have for your answer there. Okay, and then although there's not a lot of space, I'm going to do this one here. Okay, so let me just do that a little bit higher up so we can see that clearly. This one I'll let you guys do by yourselves, but if you've seen this one working, this one work, you should be able to do that with no problem. Okay, so this one we've got x cubed minus 3x. No need to integrate, it's been done already, just put the numbers in. Okay, so the first bracket we've got 0. Well, we probably don't even need to do this because we know that it's going to be 0 twice because we've got only x there, there's no constants. So we've got 0 cubed minus 3 times 0. I'm just going to put them in anyway so you can see the process. But obviously this bracket is 0. And then the next bracket we've got minus 2, that's the lower limit. So we've got minus 2 cubed minus 3 brackets minus 2. Now again, always be careful with these negative signs here, because it's easy to get lost. So here we've got 0 minus. Now, minus 2 cubed. If you cube a negative number, you get a negative number. Okay, remember that. In fact, if you have a negative number to any odd power, it's going to be a negative. So negative 2 gives us negative 8, and then we've got 3 times minus 2, which is minus 6. Minus 6 is plus 6. So we've got here minus 8 plus 6. So that is negative 2. So we've got 0 minus negative 2. Okay, and that is simply just 2. In fact, there should be equal signs all the way here. So the answer here is 2. Okay? Okay, so that's fairly simple then. By the way, you can pause this video at any time if you want to make sure that you're following okay. You don't have to do it at the pace that I'm doing it at. Obviously you can go back as well and start again. Anyway, okay, let's do a couple of these actual definite integrals where we've got to do the integration part. And the two that I want to look at are A. So what I'll do is I'll fold this over now and bring it up a bit. So we're going to look at part A and D. If you don't have this sheet in front of you, well, you should have. Perhaps you can rewind the video and start again with the sheet in front of you. But anyway, we're going to do A, and then we're going to do D, which is down here. Okay, and the other ones, like I said, the other ones I'll let you do those for yourselves. Okay, so first we've got the limits of 3 and 0. 0 is always quite a nice limit, and the function is 2x plus 1 with respect to x. So the first thing that we do then is we differentiate. Okay, so remember we do this in square brackets. So 2x, that goes to 2x squared over 2, so we get x squared. But we don't even need to work this out. This is one we can remember, right? 2x, x squared. Differentiate that, it goes to that. Integrate that, it goes to that. So you don't have to do any really working out. You can just simply remember, or you will, after a while, remember that 2x goes to x squared. And then 1 simply goes to x. Okay? There's no need for a plus c because it's a definite integral, but we put our limits in. Okay, so now you can see all we do here is we've got the two brackets. We've got 3 first, and then we've got the 0 second. So putting 3 in, we get 3 squared plus 3 minus 0 squared plus 0. Okay, you can see why 0 is a nice limit, because it pretty much always gives you, well, in fact it does always give you 0, unless you've got some funny thing that it's doing, such as if it's raised to a power, obviously it's not going to give you 0, but any polynomial with 0 in is going to give you a 0 coming out. So that's just the first bracket. So that's 3 squared, which is 9, plus 3, which is 12. So the answer there is simply 12. Okay, and then the last one I'm going to do, so I'm just going to bring this up a bit, I'll fold it over again. So about here. The last one I want to do with you is this one, which is D, and that is 2x squared plus 4x plus 2 with respect to x. Okay, so again, first thing we need to do here is to do the integration. So we do that in the square brackets, and that's going to become, add 1 to that, so it becomes 3. So we've got 2x cubed, divide by that, 2x cubed over 3. Then we've got the 4x, so that's 4x squared over 2, because we divide by the new power. And then we've got the plus 2, that simply becomes 2x. Okay? And then what happens there next, is we put the 4 and the 2. So this one is going to be a little bit more involved, because we've got a 4 to put into these 3 times and the 2 to put in 3 times, and then we've got to do a subtraction. Okay, well let's just neaten this up first by simplifying this to be 2. Okay, so that's 2x squared. Alright, so let me put this a bit further over now. I've got to put these numbers in. So, in the first bracket, I've got to put 4 in. So we've got 2/3 times 4 cubed plus 2 times 4 squared plus 2 times 4, and then from that we're going to subtract when we put 2 in. So we've got 2/3 times 2 cubed plus 2 times 2 squared, and then we've got plus 2 times 2. Okay, now obviously you can just use a calculator to do all this. Okay, just make sure that every time you see a bracket, you put a bracket in. So bracket 2/3. In fact, it's pretty sensible to put brackets around there too. And you'll get your answer directly out. But we can, if we want to, do this just using arithmetic in our heads. It's not too hard, okay? So, first bracket first. 4 cubed is 64. If you take 2/3 of 64, you get 42 and 2/3, okay? If you divide it by 3, I think you get 21 and a third. If you times that by 2, you get 42 and 2/3. The next bit's simple enough. 4 squared is 16 times 2 is 32. And then we've got 8, okay? So that is, as this square bracket here. I can use curved brackets now because there's no confusion. And taking away from that, 2 cubed is 8. 2/3 of 8 is 5 1/3. And then here I've got 2 squared times 2, which is simply 8. And then 2 times 2, which is simply 4. Okay, so now we add all this together. Okay, so on this side we have here 40, 40, 42, and 40 plus 40 is 80, plus 2 and 2/3 gives us 82 and 2/3. Taken away from that, 8 plus 4 is 12, plus 5 is 17, so 17 and 1/3. If we make that subtraction, we can see it's going to be 65, and then 2/3 minus 1/3 is going to be 1/3. So our final answer is going to be 65 and 1/3. Okay, and that is the answer to D, 65 and 1/3. Okay, so I hope you've seen and you've understood this. It is going to take a bit of practice. In the next video, what we're going to look at is now how these definite integrals are used in real life, what their actual use is. And like I said before, it's something which is actually very important and very useful. Okay, so I'll see you guys in the next video.